there is a model race going on. And so the question comes up is like GPT-5. And the idea is that with a system like that, we should see an increase in capabilities. What is the time frame for GPT-5? When are we going to see this?
Probably sometime this summer.
Right.
I don't know exactly when. One thing that we go back and forth on is how much are we supposed to like turn up the big number on new models versus what we did with GPT-4o, which is just better and better and better and better.
And I had to handle the recent GPT-4, right, when that was coming out. And meanwhile, I had to kind of do this test off between that and 3.5. And 3.5 kept getting better and better and better. And the comparisons I was able to make were changing. And so that's my question is like, yeah, would I know GPT-5 versus, wow, this is a really good GPT 4.5?
Probably not necessarily. I mean, it could go either way, right? You could just like keep doing iterations on 4.5, or at some point you could call it 5. It used to be much clearer. We would train a model and put it out, and then we would train a new big model and put it out. And, now the systems have gotten much more complex and we can continually post-train them to make them better. We're thinking about this right now. Like every time, let's say we launch GPT-5, and then we update it and update it and update it. Should we just keep calling this GPT-5 like we did with GPT-4o? Or should we call this 5.1, 5.2, 5.3 so you know when the version changes? I don't think we have an answer to this yet, but I think there is something better to do than the way we handled it with 4o. And we see this periodically. Like sometimes people like one snapshot much better than another, and they might want to keep using one. And we got to figure something out here.
Yeah, that's the challenge is, even if you're technically inclined, you can kind of understand, okay, if there's an O before it, I know this. But if I want, but then even then it's not clear. Should I use O4 mini? Should I use O3?
Yeah.
Should I use this?
I think this was like an example of, this was an artifact of shifting paradigms.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of had these two things going at once. I think we are near the end of this current problem, but I can imagine a world, I don't know what it is, but I can imagine a world where we discover some new paradigm that again means we need to like bifurcate the model tree.
Great, even more complicated names.
I hope we don't have to do that. I am excited to just get to GPT-5 and then GPT-6. And I think that'll be easier for people to use. And you won't have to think, do I want, O4 mini high or O3 or 4.0? Like,
O4 mini high is what I use to code. When I want to have a conversation, it's O3.
I think we will be out of that whole mess soon. For now.
It's fun to have choice when you know what they mean.